Ted, good morning, AJ. How we doing? Got a little drive time action going this morning. I'm making a little trip. Right now we're on, in New Jersey, we're on Route 280 East. And then we're going to be headed down to, from here we're going to hop on the Garden State Parkway for a bit and then jump on the New Jersey Turnpike South. So got about another hour and a half, 2 hours in the car. So Crusades of Motivation is in the house too. Haven't spoken to you in a while, my friend. So I had this making this trip today, and I was at the gym yesterday, and I was just messing around. I actually did some burpees, inspired by my friend Aldo, Crusades of Motivation. So I decided to do some burpees, a couple of pull-ups, just some handstands against the wall, just messing around. Oh, and then I did some squats. I did some dumbbell squats, and I finished off with a bunch of body weight squats. And in retrospect, looking back, I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like a real heavy workout, but I actually woke up pretty sore today, surprisingly. And I know how I get from sitting in a car for any real length of time. And like I said, this trip I have about an hour and a half left, but all in all, it's about a 2 hour and 10 minute trip. And I know when I get out of the car, I'm kind of gimped up, you know what I mean? I gotta stretch myself out. But anyway, I knew it would be even worse if I got in the car feeling the way I did this morning and then sitting for over 2 hours in the car. So I said, let me stop at the gym before I get on the road. And I did about 15 minutes of stretching, a few more burpees, a couple more wall handstands. That seems to really loosen up my shoulders when I do those. And to be honest, it took the soreness that I had, it took it all away. Kind of prepared me for the drive. So there's a lot to be said for the stretching. And it was funny because I was in the gym, and there were a couple of guys there. There was one guy, short, stocky guy, big guy. You could tell he's a pretty serious weightlifter. But he was actually, ironically, having a conversation with another guy talking about how he doesn't stretch enough, how tight he is, and he said, I shave my own head and I have to go to a barber now because I can't even reach around and get the back of my head with the razor. So it's important. It's really important. And a lot of the young guys, I'm guilty because I didn't do it in my younger days. But as you get older, you really start to feel it. You really start to realize that, hey, this is something that it's got to be part of the routine. It's got to be a big part of the routine before and after you do. Definitely always do some type of warm-up, especially, if you are going to be doing, heavier weight sets, or you're lifting weights, you're at the gym. Calisthenics too, but a lot of, the calisthenics, some of the moves you can even look at as a warm-up. But it's really important to warm up, and then when you're done, just to stretch yourself out a little bit. And it really does, it does help a lot, especially with the after effects. Like I said, yesterday, I left the gym and I didn't stretch out at all, when I left. But when I woke up today, I was, for some reason, more sore than usual than I thought I would be. I was actually surprised at it. But again, that little bit of time in the gym this morning before the drive, did about 100 burpees, just broke them up into sets of 10. Like I said, I was doing some band pulls, just some stretching with the band for my shoulders, a couple of wall handstands, and a couple of body weight squats, slow. And does make a big difference. You know, it's funny, even in the gym, you see such a mix of people too. Like this morning, it wasn't crowded this morning. It was myself, you know, and I was doing my nonsense in one part of the gym. A couple of, I was about to say older women, but they were probably younger than me or my age. But you know, one was on the treadmill doing her thing, holding on to a couple of dumbbells. And another woman was just making her rounds on the weight stack machines. And then you had a couple of guys who were in there throwing around some serious weight. So a lot of people say, well, what's the best way to work out? And it always does come down to, number one, what do you enjoy? What's going to be sustainable? What's realistic? Right? You have to look at first of all, you have to, look at your physical condition. What have you done? Are you my age? Are you a 60-year-old guy who hasn't worked out in 30 years? You know, are you then gonna walk into a CrossFit gym at that point? I would think not. I don't think that's a smart move. Not that you can at some point, but you do have to pick and choose your battles and build yourself up the right way, you know? But again, if that's what you enjoy and that's what you want to do, but again, it could run the gamut from calisthenics, like I put in the title. It could be calisthenics, general weightlifting, some type of CrossFit exercise, yoga, Pilates, things like that. My personal opinion is that it should be a combination of a lot of different things. Don't box yourself into one. You can have that one modality that this is what I really like doing, but I don't think you should box yourself in. You know what I mean? Take a day. If you're a big guy and you're a weightlifter, take a day and do some yoga. Do some stretching. Go do some calisthenics. Mix it up a little bit. You have to keep it. It's like anything in life, right? You have to keep it fresh. And for years and years, I always thought that weightlifting was the way to go. I didn't think that calisthenics really had, I'm like, why would you do push-ups if you could bench press 300 pounds? And it doesn't always equate. It doesn't always transfer over. Like I say, I've said many times before, you take a guy from the gym that could bench 315, maybe he could rep that out. But then bring him to a park and put him on a bar, see how many push-ups he can knock out. And he might not have that endurance. And then on the flip side, you could take a guy that could do a 50, 60, 70 clip of push-ups. Is that going to equate into a 300-pound bench press? Not necessarily. Probably not. But he's going to be strong, in a sense. He's going to have a lot more endurance. So there's a lot to be said for all of it. I mean, I think yoga, in a sense, is the fountain of youth. I mean, I never, ever, ever realized the benefits of yoga until I started doing it. So I don't think we should be afraid to try in any aspect of life, to try new things, but especially when it comes to your physical health. Don't write anything off. And again, back to the stretching part, which actually ties in with the yoga. I have rebar in my legs. You know, I was never flexible at all. Because like I said, in my younger days, I never ever realized the importance of stretching. But when I started doing the yoga, it really, really, really helped me with my flexibility. You know, I don't want to make it sound like I'm doing splits and, you know, but when I look at where I was when I started, and, you know, just after a few short months of doing it on a relatively regular basis, and I wasn't doing much, I was doing like 20 and 30 minute routines, maybe like 4 and 5 days a week. And it really, really is a game changer, without a doubt. Aldo, yes, I was doing the 6 counts, just like you, brother. I told you. You gave me the inspiration. Good morning, old school. Actually, good afternoon, old school, right? Yeah, it's afternoon already. Arturo's in the building. Good morning, brother. AJ, yeah, don't knock it, man. Try that yoga. I'll tell you right now, it's humbling, so be prepared. Definitely be prepared. It's going to put you in your place. It's going to be a sobering experience the first few times you do it. You're going to be cramping up. You're going to be falling down. Frankie, actually, I did, for some strange reason, I did know that the blue-banded bumblebee and other types of bumblebees also stretch, right? They stretch at night. They stretch their wings and their legs. So there has to be something to it, right? I mean, look at everything. If you have a dog, if you have a cat, what's the first thing they do when they get up in the morning? They stiffen up, right? They got to stretch it all out. And the bumblebees too. I mean, you look at the amount of times they're flapping their wings throughout the day. I'm sure they cramp up, or at least, you know, build up, have a little soreness at the end of the day. Ray, what's the workout today? I just, I don't know if you were here, but I just mentioned I'm on a long drive right now, and right before I just ran into the gym. I did some stretching, and then I did some sets of burpees with some wall handstands, a couple of squats. That was more of just to stretch myself out, you know, because I explained earlier that I was a little sore from yesterday. Tonight, actually, well, I have it in my mind for tonight, and I hope it pans out. I'm going to get over to the gym, and I want to hit some benching. I'll do some benching today, I think. Lately, I've been picking like a day a week and hitting like a bench, doing some barbell bench pressing, which I haven't done for years and years. Everything I've done has been, weight-wise, was all dumbbell. It was all dumbbell work. And my bench was collecting dust in the garage, so I started hitting it a while back, just a day a week. So today, like I said, if things pan out, I'll get to the gym. I'll do a nice bench session, and then I usually do, when I do it, what I have been doing is 100 reps. I start off with I guess like most guys, right, with the 135, and I'll hit that for 20 reps. on my first set. And then I just kind of go, I'll go to 155, 175, and then try to get up to like a 215. I don't want to go much, I don't want to get too crazy with it because I'm by myself, and I certainly don't want to get caught under the bar, and I don't have the strength that I used to have, obviously. So for me to get up to 225 for a few reps is pretty good these days. But yeah, and then after I hit the bench for those 100 reps, again, whatever weight I'm going to use, I'll work my way up. And then I'll finish off with some tricep work, which is usually bench dips, maybe, or some diamond push-ups, some combination of that. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, and well, really any time of the day, but if you could do that on some consistent basis, because again, anything that's gonna help your sleep, because that's another thing that we don't realize the importance of, and I didn't either, because I worked shift work my entire life, my entire adult life for over 30 years. I had horrible sleep patterns. But if you can, and now that I'm retired, I can, I'm on relatively regular sleep schedule, and I do my best to stick to it. But from a health standpoint, and again, it's human nature, the young guys, because again, I always thought, it's no big deal. I'll sleep whenever I can, as long as I get to sleep in at some point. I had a lot of years of broken sleep, 3 hours here, 4 hours there. And it takes its toll, it definitely does. It's a big stressor on the body. It's a huge stressor on the body. And when it's not only that, but you look at just day-to-day stress. You have shitty sleep patterns. Most of us are putting shit in our body for food. And then on top of it, if you don't do any type of physical exercise, it's a recipe for, when you add all that up and mix it all up, it's a recipe for disaster. It really is. So I'm headed down to Garden State Parkway right now, and then we're going to hit the Turnpike, the Jersey Turnpike, in a few minutes. And then it's just a straight ride down there. Flip this around if I can here. But yeah, a lot of times it does seem overwhelming, guys, right? There's so much to think about, but you really have to just look at your general lifestyle habits. And, to be honest, so I worked shift work for over 30 years. I slept like shit. The only positive I had going for me was that I always exercised to some degree. I never let that go out of my life from when I was a kid. So, and I was of the mindset that, well, as long as you exercise, you could eat what you want, do what you want. But again, I say it all the time. Once I hit my 40s and the dam started to break, I realized, I have to start changing other habits. And it was the sleep, it was the stress, it was the drinking, it was the food. So, there's a lot of variables. There's a lot of things that you have to look at. Then you have to be honest with yourself. Do you want to be? I see guys that I worked with that are my age, that are in their late 50s, 60, and they're all over Facebook. And I always, I say it kind of jokingly, but it's kind of sad that, like, the fatter they get, the more they love the camera. All they're doing is taking pictures of themselves, and it's the same picture over and over. They got a big steak in front of them, a big mound of French fries, and they're holding a beer or some type of drink, sitting in front of a pool, some kind of drink with an umbrella in it, some bullshit. But, when I was 14, I started drinking beer in the schoolyard, and I hit the ground running, right? And for the next 30 years, I never imagined myself not drinking, ever. When I was around people, like, if we were out at night, or, usually at the bar, and there was that odd guy that would be there and just drink a soda or, or water, I'm like, man, this guy can't be having fun. He doesn't know what he's missing out on. But in retrospect, that should have been me, or I shouldn't even have been there most places most of the time. But it is what it is. You live and learn. But my point is, I can't be doing that at my age. And if you're still doing it, the same thing you were doing 30 years ago, you really have to do some reflecting. You really have to think about what's going on. Oh, you're not kidding, Arturo. Right, I'll sleep when I'm dead, right? I tell you what, though, there is nothing like a good nap. Nothing like a good afternoon nap. I'm actually headed down now to my daughter's house. I babysit with my grandson a couple of days a week. And I put him in for a nap twice a day. If it's good enough, it's good enough for me. So I'll take a quick 20-minute power nap right after I put him down, as long as he's sound asleep. Nothing wrong with a good, little power nap to recharge the battery during the day, if you can get it in. Yeah, guys, but it's all about the habits. It's all getting back to that. It's all about the habits. You have to, and you have to be realistic. You're not gonna. I mean, really, if you just sit down alone, sit down in a room and say, where am I at? Am I honestly? Be honest with me. Are you really healthy, or do you just think you're healthy? Are you comparing yourself to the guy who's a diabetic, and then you're justifying yourself by saying, well, I'm only pre-diabetic? Or that guy's 300 pounds, I'm only 250? You know what I mean? Be realistic. Don't be comparing yourself to other people. Don't worry about what the next guy's doing. Don't worry about, well, he can eat what he wants and he doesn't gain weight, or he does this and he can. It has nothing to do with you. Nobody else has anything to do. Look at yourself. Evaluate where you're at and decide what you have to change. And every one of us has something that we can change. Every single one of us. get discouraged because if you decide, okay, I'm gonna, let's say, for most people it's weight loss. All right, I'm gonna start. I'm looking to lose weight, and you start changing your eating habits. You're gonna slip at some point. You're gonna fuck up, without a doubt. It's coming. But just brush yourself off the next day and just like it never happened and just go on with it. You can't have that, oh, well, I fucked up yesterday, I'll start again next week. No, just brush yourself off like it never happened. I never saw that pizza. I never ate that pizza. And then just go on. And you will build the habits. But the thing is, the key is to build new habits. The old habits are always going to be lurking in the background, whether it's smoking, drinking, eating, whatever. Any bad habit that you have, it's always going to be there. You're not going to erase it. So it's a twofold battle. You have to develop the new habits, and you're always going to have to ward off the old ones. But the more ingrained the new habits become, the easier it's going to get to ward off those old ones. Right? Because if you start eating the right way and you see that weight coming off, and then eventually people are going to start asking you, what are you doing? I see you lose weight. You're going to feel better, and you're not going to want to go back to those old habits. See, in the beginning, they're very comfortable and they're easy because it's what you've always done. So it's much simpler just to slip back into those old habits, slip back into the old comfort zone. But any type of change is going to come with discomfort, and you have to get used to that. It's going to get less and less uncomfortable when it becomes your norm. But in the beginning, you got to stay strong. You really got to stay strong. And I think that's one of the downfalls with people when they say, well, I want to start working out, I want to start to exercise. They have this unrealistic picture of what it's going to be. Everybody runs down to Planet Fitness. They haven't worked out in 5, 10, 20 years, if ever. And now they go down to Planet Fitness and give them your debit card or your credit card. Now, okay, well, I paid. So that's step number one. And then right out of the gate, everybody's full of piss and vinegar always. And that's going to wear off. So, and the other thing too is, is it realistic for your lifestyle? Do you work a long job? Do you get up early in the morning, get home 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night? Or are you going to come home, have something to eat, relax, and then get up again and go out to the gym? Would it be better to start with something at home? Some type of body weight exercises and things like that. But so you really have to look at it. You have to sit and think it out. What's the best plan of attack here where I could succeed? Am I really going to get up and go to that gym 4 or 5 days a week? How far is the drive? What does my work week look like? What other responsibilities do I have? And it deters a lot of people. Like I said, we all have this vision on day one of what it's going to be like. And then when the reality sets in, you wind up just sending your money to Planet Fitness every month for nothing. But you tell yourself, well, I'll start again next week, I'll start again next month. As soon as this happens, then I'll be able to do it. As soon as that, I don't have to do this anymore, then I can start hitting the gym. But I'll definitely do it. You can't really make those, you can't map things out based on your future self. You have to look at your conditions right now and then you adjust as things go along. The other big variable, which in my opinion is always going to be the number one variable, is the diet. Is what we eat. And I think that's the hardest one to fix for most people. Like I said earlier, I believed that it didn't matter what you did as long as you exercised. But I'll stand by my opinion that, even if you never exercise, and you're on point with your diet, you could live a relatively healthy, long life. You might not be as strong, as mobile, as flexible, and all that stuff, but if you're eating right, like I always say, if it comes down to it, if you're going to eat right for the rest of your life and not exercise, or if you're going to exercise and not eat right for the rest of your life, I'm going with the eating part, without a doubt. But it's really hard. The temptation is always there. Everything is junk food. Everything. Processed food is just, it has almost no nutritional value. It tastes good. It tastes great. It makes you feel good. You get the dopamine hit. Every bite you take, you look forward to the next bite. So, that's an addiction. That's a serious addiction that you have to work on. First and foremost. But it's like everything else we do, like we said, building the new habits. Can it be done? Without a doubt. Is it hard? Yeah, unfortunately it is. Unfortunately it is, but in my mind, it's well worth it. Because you're talking about your health, you're talking about your quality of life, your longevity. lot of information out there. You can learn, you know what I mean? You can learn, but the misinformation is just, it's unbelievable, the amount of misinformation and contradicting information. Don't eat this, this is good for you, this is bad for you. You don't know who to believe. But I always say the best starting point is just, you know, if it's processed, it's not good for you, for the most part. So start with eliminating that stuff and then get to the whole foods. They have the script, you know, flipped on us. They vilify, you know, all these whole foods that we've been eating for forever. The meat, the eggs, the fish. Don't put salt on anything, you'll have a heart attack. And, you know, your body needs sodium. It doesn't need trans fats. It doesn't need 150 pounds of sugar every year, which is the average for most people, 100 to 150 pounds of sugar. And they'll convince you that, you know, everything in a bag, a box, a pouch, you know, it's all healthy. And of course, the advocates for every type of diet are going to tell you that that's the best way to eat, that's the best way to live, that's going to make you the healthiest. But you have to experiment with, again, it comes down to sustainability. What do you like? You know, there are very restrictive diets that I believe, I'm sure, have a lot of health benefits. If you look at, say, like the carnivore diet, the keto diet, you know, things along those lines, but they're very restrictive. How many people are going to do them for the long term? So like everything we do, I think the best thing to do is find a good balance. You know, you can use one of those other diets initially. If you want to go low carb, low to no carb initially, that's going to help you lose weight. You know, even, I don't agree 100% with it, but, you know, if you do an extremely low fat diet, initially, it's going to help you lose weight without a doubt. You know, as long as you have that calorie deficit going. But again, it comes down now to sustainability. How long are you going to do that for? If you use a restrictive diet initially and you're losing weight, you keep that going as long as you can. But then at some point, you have to be realistic. You know, you're not going to be eating a carnivore diet for the rest of your life. You're not going to be doing keto for the rest of your life. You're not going to be a vegan for the rest of your life. Most people aren't. And, you know, any of these diets, anything other than the standard American diet is going to be a healthy change. So initially, you know, if you do any of these diets and you get away from the processed foods, you're going to see, you know, again, as long as it's at a calorie deficit, you're going to see improved health, you're going to see weight loss. And generally speaking, with the weight loss, there's going to be health improvements. But at the end of the day, it takes that effort. It takes effort. And you can't be afraid of being a little uncomfortable. Change is always going to bring discomfort. But it's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you better. It's going to give you a sense of accomplishment. Again, you have to get away from comparing yourself to other people. Well, this guy eats this and he looks this way. She eats this way and she still loses weight. You can't compare it. You can't. We all have a different physiology. Every single one of us. So you have to experiment on yourself. You have to be your own N of one. You know what I mean? You have to do the experiments. Eat this and don't force the issue. I eat this and I don't feel right. Then you don't eat it. Move on. Cut your losses. I used to be able to eat ice cream, but now when I do, I shit my pants. I wouldn't eat ice cream anymore. You had your day. Help everybody to start learning about calorie counts of certain food, protein content in certain foods. You figure out a calorie count, and if you look at junk food, processed food, I can go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac, a large fry, a large Coke, and one of those ice cream Oreo desserts. That's about 2,000 calories in that one meal. I could make up a food list of about 2,000 calories of whole food that would take you a whole day to eat. So the calorie content of this food is through the roof for the most part. And if you transition into eating, again, it could be any type of whole food diet. It could be a Mediterranean diet. It could be a vegan diet. It could be paleo, whatever. Just pick a diet. As long as it's, based on whole foods, you're almost guaranteed to lose weight. You're almost guaranteed to improve your health. But then, when you do reach your goals, you have to learn how to eat and know how to eat to maintain and still make that way of life, that diet, sustainable. And I think the best way to make it sustainable is to have a relatively balanced diet, not a restrictive diet. Another big thing with people is these supplements. Everybody's looking for a supplement or some type of hack. You know, what can I take? What can I drink? What can I eat to make me lose weight? And really what they're looking for is something, some miracle that's going to help them lose weight, help them get healthier, while they're still living the way they are. Right? In other words, like, what's going to fix what's wrong with me without me having to be uncomfortable and without me having to change. And it's been like that forever. You know, what pills are, you know, and today, what's the big thing? All you're hearing about are these diabetes drugs that they're injecting into people at an unbelievable cost, not only financially, but from a health standpoint. And you can't convince people of it. There's long-term effects of these things, very detrimental effects. But to most people, the cost, the health cost and the financial cost is worth it, because it's that uncomfortable to change their life. It's that uncomfortable to develop new habits. And when you look at the money that these companies are making, because now every drug company is coming out with their version of it. Right? I think the first one was that Novo Nordisk company, and they started with the Ozempic and the Wegovy. Now there's all sorts of versions, I think, that are either on the market or are going to be on the market. But you're talking tens, hundreds of billions of dollars that people are spending on this. And there's a total disregard for your overall health. You know, people talk out of both sides of their mouth. Well, I can't afford to eat healthy. I can't afford to get a gym membership. I can't afford this. This is expensive. When you look at the cost of these drugs, because they're prescribing them off-label, basically. Well, I guess now they're not, because they've been approved, I think, to be used as a weight loss drug. But you're looking at upwards of $1,200, $1,500 a month for these injections. I was watching a video on Facebook, actually the other day, of a doctor who I happen to know, and he was singing the praises of these drugs, how safe and effective they are. 95% of people. All right, brother. See, you're a good neighbor. You're a good neighbor. I think I just got cut off for a couple of minutes here myself, so I'm back. What's up, George? Friend Jackson Stoic is in the building from Sweden. How you doing, brother? Guys, make sure you check him out too, Jackson Stoic. Young guy. He's a beast. He's on the right track too. He's an absolute beast. Give him a look, Jackson Stoic. Aldo, was it your neighbor with the guns, the guy with all the guns that you helped? Because you definitely want to stay on his good side. got cut off a couple of minutes ago. I was in the middle of talking about these weight loss drugs. I hope I'm not repeating myself, but the bottom line with them is that they're dangerous, they're expensive. You're going to pay a price in the long term for doing it. And again, it's all... these companies are going to keep selling it. They're never going to lose money on it. They're just going to keep making their billions. And it's due to our laziness and our aversion to discomfort and change. Uh-oh, the sound's cutting off, Aldo? I didn't realize that. It looks like I have a good signal. I don't know what the problem could be. I don't have the earbuds in. How's it sounding now, Aldo? Any better? We're still cutting out. Yeah, George, with springtime and these trees blossoming, everything blossoming, yeah, you're gonna get all that stuff. You're gonna get all that pollen. You take anything for it? George, that's tough, I know. I mean, especially you work outside, right? Because really, when it gets bad like that, it's best to be inside, and a hot shower always works good. I used to get hit pretty hard when I would go out and do the lawn. On days when that pollen was really high, I wouldn't last. I'd be out there for just a few minutes, and I'd have to just... I mean, I would get bad. My eyes would close up, the runny nose, the whole bit, clog up. So I had to get right back inside and just hit like a hot shower to get everything off me. And it would take a little bit for everything to calm down, but it's tough if you have to be outside in this. And almost anything, if you're going to look for some type of allergy medication, anything that's really worth its salt is going to make you drowsy. I'm not a big proponent of these drugs and all, obviously, but one of the ones I found that used to help me, which didn't make you drowsy, was Claritin D. The Claritin D usually worked pretty well. But again, you get into all these antihistamines and you start taking those things and you're going to be flat on your back. I know I was, they really hit me. Well, George, if being at the gym makes you feel better, obviously that's because you're inside, right? I'm sure it's air conditioned. The air's being recirculated. It's not the outside air, so. But if you're outside, you're in a place that has windows open. There's really no escaping it. George, you're outside with work all day, right? You spend any part of your day inside, or you're outside every day? Right, the parks, yeah. So you're right where all the trees are, right? You're right in the belly of the beast. You could try that, George. I've actually tried it when I used to go out and do the lawn and all. I tried it a couple times, but if you're just talking about one of those general paper masks, that people have been using throughout the whole corn situation, I don't know that would work. I hope it does for you if you try it. Go online, George. There's I'm sure there's more than one. But just do a search for, pollen count in my area, or today's pollen count, and they'll tell you exactly. They'll tell you the pollen levels in whatever area you put in, and it'll tell you exactly what type. Is it tree pollen? Is it ragweed? Whatever the different types are. The word. I apologize, guys. I think I may have just cut out there. Yeah, George, definitely give it a look. I think the site I was going to is called AccuWeather.com. It's actually a weather site. It is every day. Which one is high? Which one is low? I would imagine the tree pollen is going to be high for at least the next couple of weeks. merge area I just came out of is always a shit show. I'm on the Jersey Turnpike. That's right past exit 6. Basically, you have two sides of the road. You have one that's just all cars, and then the other one is cars, trucks, and buses. So what you have really in that area is like 6 lanes of traffic merging down into 3. So it turns into a shit show a lot of times. Too many crazies on the road. What's up, Roman? What's going on with you, brother? What's your workout today? What's your dad gonna have you doing today? You playing some basketball? You doing some burpees? Or has he got you doing a little bit of everything? Oh, there you go. He got you on those 6 counts. He's going to make you count them the right way, too. So you better be on your game, my friend. You better be on your game. He's going to make sure you get that count right. I did some 6 counts a little while ago before I got in a car accident. I heard you gave your dad a little bit of a basketball lesson the other day. Showed him who's boss on the court. Roman, all the time. Good for you. Good for you. Did you ever do the 6 counts before, or is this going to be the first time you're doing them? Okay, so you know what they're about. You know what they're about. Serious business, those 6 counts. I did 100 of them earlier this morning, actually. I broke them up into sets of 10. Took a little break in between each set. There you go. 100's a nice number. Break them up. I don't know, though. I don't know. I know your dad. He might want to go straight through with that 100. He might want to get crazy and go straight through with the 100 instead of breaking it up. They're going to get you in shape, though, Roman, no doubt. Burpees are the real deal. Better than any type of cardio you can do, I think. All right, Roman, you have a good time. Good luck with those 6 counts today. I know you're going to get through them, no problem. Show your dad how it's done, brother, okay? It was good talking to you. You have a good rest of your day. I'm almost to the end of the road here. Got a few more minutes left in the drive, but just getting back to what I said earlier, you know, find something that you like, find something that's sustainable, and don't be afraid of being uncomfortable. You're gonna have to. It all goes with the territory, but it's gonna pay off in the end. You know, bet on yourself winning. Bet on yourself. Don't worry, like I said, don't be comparing yourself to other people. Don't worry about what the next guy is doing. How come he can eat this and he weighs this much? How come, you know, she eats this and never gains weight? Who cares? Don't waste your life trying to figure out other people. Put your faith in yourself. Put all the effort into yourself, and everything else will work out. Back in the day, when I was gambling, I'd be betting all the time on sports teams, hoping that they'd do well. Bet on yourself. Bet on yourself, because then when you win, it's going to pay off way more than you'll ever realize, than you ever realized you could. Put all your time and effort into yourself. Every one of us can do it. Every one of us has the ability to do it. It's just at the end of the day, do you have the real desire to do it? can you overcome the discomfort? Can you deal with the discomfort? And again, the sad fact is most people can't, most people won't, but there are some people that find a reason to do it. Some people will find a reason, no matter what it takes. And I came to the realization years ago that what I was doing wasn't working. It wasn't working in a big way. And I knew I was on a slippery slope. I knew I had to change. I knew I had to fix things. And I just got so fed up with myself, and then I started. But if you give it time, if you stay consistent, put in the effort, things are going to get better, things are going to get easier, you're going to get healthier, you're going to be happier. It's all going to pan out, it's all going to pay off. Believe me, when it does pay off, it's going to be more valuable than any slot machine or, any blackjack table or any football game. Remember, guys, it doesn't matter what it is at the end of the day. Movement counts. Eating healthy counts. So it can be calisthenics, it can be CrossFit, it can be weightlifting, it can be going for a walk every day. It's all going to help. It's all a step in the right direction. Same thing with the diet. You want to be carnivore, you want to be vegan, you want to be paleo, Mediterranean diet, it's all going to work. Anything other than the standard American diet is going to help. Find something that's sustainable. Don't be afraid of discomfort. Don't be afraid of change. All comes down to doing a self-evaluation, an honest evaluation. What do I need to change? Stop looking for the hacks. Stop looking for the shortcuts. Stop looking for the pills, the drugs, the powders. Look for real life change. build self-discipline, self-esteem. You're going to look at yourself different. Other people are going to look at you differently. The only way to change is to really change. And you have to come to that realization. Don't gauge your life, your progress, your abilities. Don't gauge that based on what other people are doing. If you want to use other people as a barometer, you can, but look at them. Look at it from the point of view, what is, this guy's overweight, this guy's unhealthy. Pick something negative and say, what is that person doing? How is that person living? How is that person eating? What is their lifestyle like? And that's going to help you, in addition to your own self-evaluation, it's going to help you find things that don't work. That's the wrong thing. So now we're eliminating the things that we know don't work, and then we concentrate on adding in the things that do work and finding the things that work. Because in all honesty, it doesn't take much to realize, what the bad things are. It's staring every one of us every single day. Every single day, you can just walk around and see it. All right, guys, on that note, just about ready to end this odyssey here. So everybody go have a good day. Find what you like to do and do it. Decide what you need to change, start changing it. Stay healthy. Make sure you get your reps in. Appreciate all you guys taking a ride with me as usual. And I will talk to you in the next one. Thanks, guys.